the eCenter. It's a center for functional medicine, functional acupuncture. Does anybody know what functional acupuncture is? Raise your hands. Okay. Most of you know what acupuncture is, except acupuncture in and of itself, it can be hit or miss. You don't know what result you're going to get. By going into functional medicine with the acupuncture, what you look at is your biochemistry, your genetics, and by the way, what you did to your genetics, because it's not just your genes, it's your epigenetics. So how many of you got 8 hours of sleep last night? Yay! So all of you who didn't raise your hands, I can tell you you didn't get restful sleep because I was trained in facial diagnosis. And I can see the stress of lack of sleep in every one of you. Okay. It was hard for me this morning. I was running on fumes getting here. It was not cool. The gas tank said empty. So today's lecture is on stress. Okay, stress is something that everybody has. How many of you feel like you're stressed? Oh, yeah, exactly. And how many of you? Let me ask a different question. So how many of you have a family history of cardiovascular disease, okay, hypertension, Alzheimer's, cancer? So all of you have a family history of stress, which definitely affects your genes and how you manifest your life right now. All right. So stress isn't an abstract concept. Everybody knows what it feels like. Sweaty palms, racing heart, can't make decisions, I get tired, I can't get through my day. Your memory and concentration goes away, all right? So it's not good. But stress, that's not an abstract concept. The issue right now is chronic stress. And the problem with chronic stress is that it is lethal, okay? It will kill you, all right? It shrinks your brain, it damages the brain cells, and it will shrink your brain, okay? Gives you heart disease, gives you diabetes. It's just a killer. So, how about that face aging? Anybody look at their face after a good night's sleep versus a bad night's sleep? Yeah. So the aging, and our bellies. Our belly. Who doesn't get fat when they're stressed? I'm doing the right diet. I did everything right. I'm exercising. And how come I'm getting fat? That scale just keeps going up and up and up. All right. So we already talked about this, who I am. This is these are my loves of my life. So Matthew's my love of my life. I love traveling, I love exercising, and the ocean is my passion. So it was my destiny to do this kind of work. And I love my job. And the reason I love my job is because coming from the Western nuclear medical point of view, I saw the disasters. I saw a lot of disasters, and personally I experienced a lot of disasters from the stress. Okay, that was mostly based on my studies in China. That was fun. So I figured out that the body is a puzzle, and you have to get these pieces to work together in order to really be on your game as an entrepreneur, and every one of you need to have this. You have to be able to manage the stress and not have it affect your ability to perform. Okay? So stress is a good thing, all right? Stress was designed for survival. It was designed to protect us. How many people saw The Lion King? Okay, so The Lion King movie. So what happens? So you've got the lion, and then you've got the zebras. And then the lion goes out after the zebras. So stress response, lion, going to get food to survive. Stress response, the zebra, it's trying to get away from the lion. So then what happens is the lion gets the zebra, the rest of the herd goes away, and they're back to eating their grass, right? So they're going back to ground state. The lion's happy, he's fed, all right? But what do? Go to work. Go to work. No, so what do? We sit there and we're like a zebra doesn't sit there and think about, oh my God, the lion. What if he comes back again? And can you believe it? Oh, what if my hoof got stuck in the ground? I mean, excuse me. So this is what we do. We turn on stress responses purely for psychological reasons, and it has a physiological effect. Okay. So that. Oops, I messed you up. All right, entrepreneurs. What does that look like? Okay, burnout. Does anybody spell burnout? All right, this is an entrepreneur's nightmare. All right. So some of the things that happen is, I mean, you're overwhelmed, you can't make decisions. I mean, it's horrible to be in this panic state. What else happens? Your body starts talking to you. All right. So you'll get pain. Pain is one of your best friends because it tells you something's wrong. It really is. You'll get. Like having a blood pressure of 180 over 120 is okay when you're running from the tiger, when you're running from the lion, right? But sitting in traffic and having, day after day, and having a blood pressure of 180 over 120, that's called hypertension, okay? So this is the differentiating factor. All right, so we'll get pain, we get fight or flight, we get digestive disorders. Digestion is really expensive energetically for the body. All right, the body, that's like the last thing you're going to do when you're stressed. Those butterflies in your stomach, the gas, the heartburn, the indigestion, constipation. If I get one more patient like that, okay, so one of the first things we do with treatment is take it down, bring you back to parasympathetic, which is is the ground state. Immune system, who doesn't catch more colds when they're stressed or haven't slept, right? And by the way, any of you have trouble sleeping? Yeah, exactly. And do you ever, like, do you know what your pet would think if you told them what you were worried about, like whether the 30-year mortgage came in or, what you're they'll think you're crazy because it's neurotic. It's completely brain driven, but then the effects are physically driven. All right, so back to sleeping. I got some good stuff on sleep. How many of you know how erections work? So let me explain how erections work. So the first thing that happens pretty much is arousal. That's called parasympathetic. That's when you go back to homeostasis, where there's a relaxation of your favorite member. And then as things go on, right? So arousal, that's moving into the fight or flight parasympathetic or sympathetic mode. And so your heart races, you get sweaty, the curls toe up, whatever, you get hot. And so you're doing this balancing act between the two, sympathetic, parasympathetic nervous system. And then the thought comes in, oh my God, Trump just tweeted that, right? And guess what that's called? Premature ejaculation. All right. So, yeah, it's true. It's true. All right. That's the sleep. That's you. And hopefully it comes to an end. And yikes, what are we going to do about it? So we have solutions. So solution number one is just work on the brain. That's solution number one. And I invite all of you, by the way, to come to the clinic to experience these devices. So, and it's, by the way, it's a 15-minute drive-by thing. You don't have to do a big thing, okay? So the M wave is heart rate variability and training. And what it does, this is a technology that is used by high-stress professions, elite athletes, first responders, Navy SEALs. This is what they train for. Why do they do this? Because it allows you to make really precise decisions even under the highest amount of stress, okay? So that's why it's good, it's entrainment, all right? Alpha stem is, it doesn't matter, it's a little couple ear clips, puts the brain in an alpha state, thank you, puts the brain in an alpha state, which is the state between being fully awake and being sleeping. So, and you can feel a little drunk, like if it's turned up too high, it's quite effective. So that's another 15, 20 minutes. But when we're really dealing with the effects of stress on the body and driving it from the brain, what the most comprehensive thing you can do is acupuncture. How many of you are afraid of needles? You can raise your hands. I know all the men are, but we can do laser acupuncture. And the other thing is stress, creating an environment and listening to Greg and what he does, it's like that alone brings you down. That alone is a de-stressor. This is what we need. We need to fill our lives with de-stressors and consistent de-stressors. So having an environment that's de-stressful, that's not stressful, is really important, really important. So I invite any other questions. I think I missed half my lecture, but that's okay. All right, thank you.